They laughed first with their eyes, then with their mouths, the sound spreading across the ballroom like a stain that couldn't be wiped away. It happened the moment the single dad placed a worn $50 bill on the polished table, his hands steady even as his face burned. Chandeliers sparkled overhead, champagne glasses clinked, and in a room full of silk gowns and tailored suits, that single bill looked painfully small. No one noticed the quiet strength in his posture, or the little girl sitting beside him gripping her backpack like it was the most precious thing she owned. They only saw what they wanted to see, a man who didn't belong. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories where dignity matters more than money, take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. He hadn't planned to be there. Life had a way of dragging him into places he never imagined after his wife passed away 3 years earlier, leaving him with hospital bills, a 7-year-old daughter, and a heart that never quite learned how to breathe normally again. That night, he was only there because his daughter's school had received an unexpected invitation to a charity gala hosted by one of the city's wealthiest families. The invitation promised scholarships, donations, and opportunities for children who otherwise would never have a chance. He almost declined, knowing how out of place he would feel, but his daughter's eyes lit up when she heard the word gala. She wanted to see the lights, the dresses, the magic. He wanted to give her one night where life didn't feel heavy. So he put on his cleanest shirt, brushed her hair carefully, and counted his money 3 times before leaving the house. $50. That was all he could spare, after rent, groceries, and school supplies. He told himself it wasn't about the amount. It was about showing up, about teaching his daughter that even when you have little, you still give what you can. The ballroom smelled like polished wood and expensive perfume. Laughter flowed easily among guests who had never known the panic of checking a bank balance before buying milk. He felt their eyes on him as he guided his daughter to a table near the back. She looked small in her simple dress, but she smiled anyway, eyes wide with wonder. That smile alone was worth every uncomfortable second. When the time came to contribute, people rose confidently, dropping envelopes thick with cash, writing checks without hesitation. Applause followed each generous donation. Then it was his turn. He stood, walked to the table, and placed the $50 bill down carefully, as if it were fragile. The laughter came immediately, soft at first, then bolder. Someone whispered something cruel. Someone else smirked. A man nearby shook his head as if watching a bad joke unfold. His daughter looked up at him, confusion flickering across her face. He felt a familiar ache in his chest, the same one he felt every time he couldn't give her what other kids had. He wanted to disappear, but he didn't. He stayed standing, shoulders squared, eyes calm. He reminded himself why he was there. For her. Across the room, unnoticed by most, a woman in a deep red gown had gone still. She was known in that city as a millionaire heiress, born into privilege so vast it made headlines. She rarely attended events without being surrounded by admirers and cameras. But at that moment, none of that mattered. Her gaze was fixed on the man and the child beside him. She saw the way his hand rested protectively near his daughter, the way the girl leaned into him, trusting completely. She saw the laughter and the cruelty behind it, and something inside her shifted. Her own childhood had been spent in mansions and private schools, but it had also been lonely. Money bought silence, not love. She had learned early that wealth could isolate as much as it could elevate. Watching that father stand there, humiliated yet unbroken, reminded her of everything money couldn't buy. The laughter grew louder, feeding on itself, until suddenly it stopped. Chairs scraped softly against the floor as she stood. The room seemed to hold its breath. Heads turned. Conversations died mid-sentence. When someone like her stood, it meant something was about to happen. She didn't rush. She walked with purpose, heels echoing against marble, until she reached the table. The father felt the shift before he saw her. The air felt different, heavier, charged. His daughter looked up, eyes wide again, but this time with curiosity instead of wonder. The heiress didn't look at the laughing guests. She looked at the $50 bill. Then she looked at the man. In that moment, something extraordinary happened. The room realized it had misjudged him. Her presence turned the spotlight, exposing the cruelty that had felt so casual just seconds earlier. She made a donation that night so large it silenced every whisper. But it wasn't the amount that changed everything. It was what followed. She spoke about why she was giving, about the courage it took to show up when you had almost nothing, about the quiet heroism of parents who put their children first no matter the cost. She spoke about dignity, about respect, about how generosity wasn't measured by numbers but by sacrifice. The laughter never returned. Some people looked away ashamed. Others wiped their eyes. The father felt something loosen in his chest, something he hadn't realized was knotted so tightly. For the first time in years, he felt seen. After that night, things didn't magically become easy, but they became possible. The donation helped the school, and the heiress personally ensured scholarships reached children like his daughter. Opportunities opened that he never would have dared to imagine. More importantly, his daughter learned a lesson she would carry for life, that her father's worth was never defined by his wallet. Near the end of the evening, as they prepared to leave, the father glanced back once at the ballroom. The chandeliers still sparkled, but they no longer felt intimidating. He held his daughter's hand, feeling her small fingers squeeze his, and knew that no laughter could ever take away what truly mattered. If this story touched your heart even a little, if it reminded you that kindness can change a room and courage can change a life, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe for more stories like this. And before you go, I have a special request. Comment below with the word kindness if you believe every act of giving, no matter how small, matters. Because sometimes all it takes to change everything is one $50 bill, one brave parent, and one person willing to stand up when everyone else sits back.